need good health to survive the stresses of big city. Sometimes you want to escape, to run away from the strain, the pressures, the chaos. And we do run away from the city, to breathe the ocean air or to roam the forest. We yearn to do this intuitively, but often the opportunity evades us. Either there is no ocean near, or the forest is beyond our reach, too far away, in the middle of nowhere. So, what's the answer? The scientists offer us relief. They develop unique natural products such as bioeffectives, products from the forest based on conifer needles, produced by an Australian-Russian company, Solagift. We've called these natural biologically active substances bioeffectives because they offer unique effectiveness. This unique effectiveness is connected with the material itself, the conifer needle. 150 million years ago, the pine and fir appeared on Earth. Since then, many species have become extinct, but the conifer species have endured and they stand out for their enormous biological power within. Scientific research has revealed that the conifer needle contains an enormous amount of useful material, such as vitamins, carbohydrates, amino acids, and minerals. Products based on these needles successfully replace antibiotics. They treat infections, cancer, ulcers, and myocardial infarction. And there are almost zero side effects. Modern technologies have realized the potential within these needles to solve vital problems connected with health and prolong active life. Bioeffectives have shown outstanding results in many areas, including cosmetology, animal husbandry, and agriculture. Today, science is proving it. Tomorrow, everyone will be able to experience it. The history of Solagift began in 1993. 10 years later, in 2003, the company had already reached the Australian and German stock exchanges. There are more than 2,000 shareholders in the company. The board of directors meets them annually and reports on the year's work. They present new products and scientific research, speak on the share price, and answer shareholders' questions. Solagift is a company that operates within the Australian market, but its roots are in Russia. The company consists of Russian scientists and Australian businessmen, and has close connections with specialists of the leading clinics and research medical institutions in Russia. The Tomsk plant, operating with our most recent and unique technology, is the pride of Solagift.
It's the first production facility in the world that can produce commercial quantities of polyprenols under a patent protection that's owned by Solagift.
Solagift is headed by the board of directors. Dennis Kilroy is a strategy and business development consultant. Charles Pellegrino is director of international marketing and deals with management. Peter Stadwell is the company secretary. The chairman and the founder of the company is Vagif Sultanov, an honorary Doctor of Science of the St. Petersburg Forest Technical Academy, PhD of Chemistry, and a qualified medical practitioner.
Okay, it's good. You want to have it?
I decided long ago that I had to help people. I can't imagine my life without helping people. And I knew it since the years of my childhood. especially after I lost my mother when I was 11. I understood I had to do something. She died of cancer when she was 37. I had to do something to help people.
When he was ill for those weeks, he was having trouble.
Do you like a Spider-Man? Yeah? Really? What about Batman?
Клиника – это одно из моих
The clinic is one of my chief areas. It was the starting point of my life here in Melbourne, in Australia. It's an alternative medicine
сама по
clinic.
себе относится к клинике альтернативной
The treatment is generally undergone here with the help of different natural compounds. We don't use so-called synthetic medical products in our treatments at the clinic. You may know nowadays people speak more and more about depression and stresses. Why? Nobody seems to want to find out how emotions influence our body. A person can be healthy and strong and suddenly some stress, and he dies. How could the emotional factor provoke death? How? It means that all human biochemistry changes and some toxic elements appear. So toxic that the body simply shuts down. Everything in nature breaks down when the equilibrium is disturbed. The balance is upset. So diseases mean loss of balance. To become balanced means to reach recovery. It's the core principle of our clinic, and it's my philosophy. One of the main ideas was to eventually start using at the clinic the preparations that Solodki made some time ago in Russia from conifer needles. The story began about a century ago in Russia in the St. Petersburg Forest Technical Academy. The founder of the conifer needle extraction process was Fyodor Timofeyevich Solodki, an academy graduate. He was without doubt a very gifted chemist. He used all his knowledge and experience, and it was he who developed the technology and scientific invention. That's why he is considered to be the founder of forest biochemistry worldwide. Solodki in the 30s had already thought about the utilization of the crown of the tree. It was material that went to waste. It's alive. For example, a pine. 95% of the so-called living elements from the tree are found in its needles. That's the very core of the subject. Solodki started his research with a study of the chemical composition of needles, and very soon he started to isolate a class of organic substances from them that became precursors of his first range of medicines. And Asnea Granat was always nearby. There was a book where they were compared to two needles that supplement each other and always go together. Asnea Granat was also a graduate of the St. Petersburg Forest Technical Academy. She was the one who not only shared Solodki's interest in a new scientific branch, but also became his assistant and true friend. This is a higher doctoral research dissertation by Fyodor Solodki. It contains a report with all his papers written up to this time. Then, when we were working in the laboratory, a book, volume 119, was published. It looked like this. This is a book of collected papers written up to that moment. I take care of these books. You see, this is the utilization of the live elements of trees. Chlorophyll keratin paste was the first product made by Solodki. He tested it himself. Fyodor was eating this paste. At that time they didn't have capsules, so he put the paste in cigarette tissues and swallowed it. The paste contains all the vitamins, natural balanced complexes created by nature. Soon after Solodki's research took place, it went from the laboratory to production at the experimental educational facility at Lysina. The first tree foliage recycling plant was built here in the mid to late 1930s by Solodki and Agranat. Solotki himself constructed the first tree foliage recycling machine.
Древесная зелень от пневмосортировщика.
Tree foliage from the pneumatic separator was driven in this runabout to the workshop. Then it got to a tray, and afterwards was chopped up into small pieces. And then it got to the extractors. This is an apparatus for making chlorophyll keratin paste that we mentioned. Concentrated vitamin C, essential oils, needle extract for baths. 10 products in total were produced in Lysina. Part of the product was delivered to the cosmetic and soap manufacturers where Lysnoe and Carman soap, famous at that time, were made. A team from Lysina started using the green conifer needle in animal husbandry. New types of feed are made at the farm feed kitchen, hay and coniferous flour. Its making is mechanized. This machinery processes 2.5 tons of flour in 8 hours. Hay flour doesn't yield to best concentrates in respect of containing proteins. Coniferous flour is a perfect feed with vitamins and a condiment to main food for pigs, chickens, and geese. They were experimenting and researching. Solotki succeeded in finding a method that helped to liberate a large complex of active ingredients from the needles almost without modifying them.
Мы продукты Солagрана назвали...
We call Solagran products bioeffective. Chlorophyll keratin paste was the first isolated and developed by Solotki. So we called it bioeffective A. It's supposed to be the father of all these products.
Как бы родоначальник всех этих продуктов.
Nowadays, Solotki's legacy lives on with Solagran. It researches conifer chlorophyll keratin paste, its potential, its new properties, and its possible applications. Not long ago, it was thought that nerves, smoking, and alcohol caused stomach disease. But in 1983, Australian scientists Barry Marshall and Robin Warren provided that bacteria named Helicobacter pylori caused peptic ulcers. This work culminated in a Nobel Prize, and doctors got an opportunity to cure peptic ulcers with antimicrobial agents. A recent global report revealed that about 70% of the world population is affected by these bacteria. The leading Russian clinics and institutions got involved in tests of bioeffective A in the treatment of Helicobacter pylori.
Препараты на основе этой пасты, да, они показали прекрасный
Products based on
эффект.
this paste demonstrated excellent efficacy. This bacteria is killed under the influence of comparatively small amounts of this chlorophyll keratin paste.
Что надо очень ценить.
It's also very significant because these particular diseases are not often cured with antibiotics.
Упорно не поддается часто антибиотикам, и далеко не всем антибиотикам.
From a medical report, findings showed that the minimum effective concentration of bioeffective A assures a complete suppression of Helicobacter pylori. In 1994, the International Agency for Research on Cancer called Helicobacter pylori a carcinogen of the first order and accepted it could cause stomach and esophageal cancer. We started clinical research of conifer chlorophyll keratin paste. We chose patients with precancerous stomach disease and started giving them bioeffective A for a long period of time and monitored them 6 months after this. In other words, we noted the symptoms and indications they had before treatment and after it. we got the following results: a registered improvement of functional stomach activity. Also, patients stopped complaining of constant gastrointestinal problems. The most important thing is that precancerous symptoms regressed. In the St. Petersburg Pasteur Institute, Bioeffective A was tested for one more common infection, Trichomoniasis vaginalis. This problem is rather intimate, that's why it is not widely discussed. Now we have very convincing data for these products' effectiveness in trichomoniasis therapy. It is the name of a culprit which affects both men and women, and unfortunately can cause infertility. It's a very important issue these days. From a medical report, findings of investigations showed that Bioeffective A is a potential treatment of trichomoniasis, including chronic and latent infections. It destroys active and afflugellar trichomonads and also normalizes dysbiosis. Working with the Australian company Solagift's product Bioeffective A, we've noticed that it has excellent antibacterial effect. Furthermore, it does not influence organisms negatively and does not cause dysbiosis. Bioeffective A is a powerful antibacterial agent for various infections, including golden staph, MRSA, and MRSA. And maybe the most important thing is that it's a pure conifer needle extract, a well-balanced natural complex with high curative properties that has almost nil side effects. I assure you that if you take 2 of our products, you'll forget about antibiotics forever. Dennis Kilroy, Master of Engineering, Bachelor, Solagran Director. Dennis Kilroy is a business strategy consultant. He was close to Solagran from its conception and is a co-founder of the company. He met Vagiv Sultanov in 1995, and it soon became apparent they had similar aims. Sultanov wanted to create a new medical company based on natural sources only. And Dennis was trying to run a new business that would not only bring a financial return, but also help humanity.
My role here is to ensure that Solagran develops into a company that creates value for its customers, wealth for its shareholders, and benefit for the wider community or for humanity, all at the same time.
Dennis has a close family, his wife Fiona, his daughter Catherine, and his son Alexander, who is in the 7th grade. He's fond of sports, mountain bike, and field hockey. He likes playing the guitar and playing tricks on his elder sister, Catherine. Catherine, she's 16 and in the 10th grade. She practices the flute and the violin to a high standard. Fiona, Dennis's wife, graduated from the University of New South Wales. She works as a social worker. They enjoy weekends when they can spend time together as a family. When I started running the company in 1992, nobody believed it would be possible to obtain this level of documentation, regard it as a serious paper, and use it later for registration in the West. Today, the company has 22 patents. 4 of them are international ones. And if we have to apply for 10 more patents tomorrow, we have enough material for it as well. Vagiv Sultanov came to Australia first in 1990 on a scientific exchange. Perestroika in USSR changed the situation radically. The USSR collapsed. There was no way to continue scientific research in Russia. Sultanov decided to remain in Australia and take the opportunity to preserve and continue the unique scientific expertise and knowledge developed in the St. Petersburg Forest Technical Academy. Finally, it was achieved thanks to the efforts of both Russia and Australia. Jackie Taranto, a very talented businessman who owned the Coogee company, shared his ideas at that time. They designed and developed the company logo and publicity material. So the major aim of the company is to produce drugs which won't have side effects and which will boost health. At the moment, there are around 6,000 biologically active products, the origin of which is not known, and it's very hard to sort them out when you have so many of them. Our products have gone through multiple comprehensive tests for over 7 decades. They were used during the Second World War, and even now we continue carrying out clinical tests on them. The name Solagran is also connected with Russia. It can be easily decoded, Solodki Agranat, in memory of those who began this work and made the first products from conifer needles. Nowadays, the company produces many natural preparations from needles. They differ in properties and using, but their origin is Professor Fyodor Solodky's chlorophyll keratin paste that actually leads the list. Dealing with such a mixture of substances, you understand, this complex may be used everywhere, and its applications were really proven during the Second World War, especially during the Siege of Leningrad. On the 29th of August 1941, the army of Nazi Germany cut all mainline railroads connecting Leningrad with the country. The blockade and the starvation started. People of the occupied city had to ration 75 grams of bread a day and nothing else. The scurvy started. Everyone then had the scurvy. Blood ran from the gums. When you bit something, the gums bled. This was such a disease. Everyone was swollen. Bellies were dark blue. Here comes a woman. Look at her. Indeed, it's a girl with a swollen face, swollen belly. It's horrific to look at. With swollen legs, she walks, falls, and may never get up again. Even today, it's painful to recollect it. The city under siege needed vitamins. The Forest Technical Academy offered to use Solodky's preparations from conifer needles. There was enough material surrounding Leningrad. Production was quickly organized. The branches were cut, then it was cut into pieces, without branches, without pitch. The pitch shouldn't be there, only the greens. They covered it with cold water. Valeria Mikhailovna was only 17 when she and her friends started working in the conifer needle processing plant. When everything was ready, the water was very bitter, dark green bitter water. After manufacturing, the needle drink was sent to the army, to the hospitals, and to the kindergartens. The drink was not tasty, but it was natural. Children didn't like it, but they had to drink it to survive.
Мы не понимали, что это такое, это понятно, да?
We didn't understand what it was, so we were not very keen, but our carers made us drink it and told us it was very useful. The pine extract saved residents of Leningrad from scurvy first of all. 100-200 milliliters of the tincture per day helped them get sufficient vitamins. My husband, for example, was in the siege of Leningrad. He was a child, and they got these pine extracts in the nursery. We can say they were natural vitamins. And he remembers they called them the elixir of life, the carers told them. Maybe it helped him to stay alive. Thank God he's 70 and he's still quite well. No army hospital in Leningrad worked without chlorophyll keratin paste. It was used for septic wounds, treatment of severe burns, and frostbite. Pine extract was used as antiseptic in surgery. In 1943, for the introduction of these natural vitamin-rich preparations and saving lives, he got an award presented by one of the country's leaders, Kalinin. in Moscow. In 1943, Solotsky, during the siege of Leningrad, was awarded with the Sign of Honor. He went to the Kremlin to receive it.
Конечно, этот продукт прошел испытание.
Certainly, this product passed the test of time. You can't find a better place to trial medicine. A whole city that became an open hospital during 900 days, in summer and winter and autumn, in spring. It was a test of immeasurable scale.
По всей шкале.
Charles Pellegrino, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Business, Solagran Executive Director. Charles Pellegrino graduated from La Trobe University in Law and Politics and from Swinburne University in Accounting. He manages Solagran's marketing and product promotion. Charles says, you cannot buy your health, but you can buy bioeffectives that will provide good health.
You look. You look fantastic. Because you have a good balance of things.
It is imperative that certain milestones are met by the directors and by various parts of the business internationally in order for the true value of the company to be recognised and for it to become, as I believe it will, one of the major players in the medical field.
Charles Pellegrino is a very good family man. He's known his wife Adamantia since they were students. Their charming daughter Marion is 6. She's in the first form. She likes painting. Charles' wife works for Solagran, developing new cosmetic products containing bioeffectives. They like to spend the evenings together. Charlie is often away on business trips, so he appreciates every minute spent with his family. Besides his main job, Charlie has a lot of hobbies. His favorite is winemaking. He produces famous Australian wines and is very proud of it. When Charlie was buying land for his vineyards, he had to fell about 120 trees. The government gave him permission and asked him to compensate for the felling. Charlie promised to plant 1,000 trees for every tree felled, and he kept his word. 120,000 seedlings have been planted by hand, and the coniferous forest is already growing.
The trees are a magnificent resource as far as the fact that they're quite easy to look after. They're very valuable, and they're creating a wonderful atmosphere and improving the environment. So it has all of these things, and if the sense of giving something back is strong, and I enjoy that.
Today, Solagran produces a number of natural products made from green conifer, Bioeffective A, Bioeffective B, Bioeffective S, and finally there is a unique, let's say extraordinary product, Bioeffective R. Its medical form is called Roprin.
Roprin is a product that is like nothing that's been seen before in the pharmaceutical industry. It's a product that is so multifaceted, it's almost incredible for people when they hear about it.
Roprin is derived as a result of very delicate and refined processes. It's a long chain of isoprenoid alcohols or polyprenols, which convert in your body to dolichos, key elements of the dolichal phosphate cycle. Polyprenols from plants and dolichos are of similar structure and origin. There is currently great interest in them all over the world.
Мы первые вообще в России выделили эти соединения, установили.
We in Russia were the first to isolate these compounds and establish their structure. We developed the technology which allows the isolation not only of these compounds, but many other substances.
древесной зелени высокой степени чистоты.
Specialists all over the world consider obtaining polyprenols of high purity to be a difficult task, but it's an important issue. Why is the interest in these compounds so great? What does it mean for human health? And what unbelievable properties make them so important?
Ну, полипренолы,
Well, polyprenols perform important duties in your body. Glycalization of proteins and obtaining glycoprotein.
получаются гликопротеины.
Polyprenols are involved in the synthesis of glycoproteins. In other words, they make an exchange between carbohydrates and proteins in the cell membrane, regenerating an unhealthy cell. The value of polyprenols is difficult to overestimate. Almost all diseases start with a cell life's distortion, and it's specifically polyprenol compounds which could bring the cell back to life.
Такие же соединения находятся и у человека, то есть они не вызывают
They don't cause rejection or any allergic reaction, as do many other natural compounds. They are just part of the normal metabolism of the cell and the human organism.
Клетки или органы, или всего организма.
The lack of such compounds leads to poor health. The synthesis of polyprenols is broken and the immune system is compromised.
Даже, например, известно,
It is even known,
что
for
рак
example, that the cell structure in cancer cells is damaged. Within it, there is a lack of polyprenols and other compounds. In other words, a normal cell contains 100-fold more of these compounds than the cells of a cancer patient. Initial research of Roprin and the first experiments were carried out on animals with liver disease, because the liver of both men and animals has the largest amount of these compounds. And it's not the only reason.
Проблема печени существует во всем.
Liver problems exist all over the world. The liver is one of the largest and most hard-working organs in the body. Consequently, liver regeneration is the foundation of health in the human body. The impact of Roprin on preclinical liver resection studies was stunning. There is usually scar tissue after treatment with commonly used conventional drugs. In cases with Roprin, the tissue remained as alive as it was before the disease, and the cells of the regenerated liver after Roprin had normal functional activity. We registered it as a medicine for the treatment of liver conditions as a hepatoprotector, because our main focus of research has been the liver. The discovery of a new medicine is a great event, but before it gets into the pharmacy and the patient, it must pass the exam, be registered. 3 stages of clinical human trials are carried out before the registration of a medicine. At the first stage, healthy volunteers take part. At the second, volunteers suffering diseases that the medicine should cure. It's at this stage that the dosage of the drug must be finalized. You can see here the primary material, all about each patient, all the data of clinical, laboratory, instrumental analysis. There are journals and patient's visits. The journals of a doctor-researcher who examined the patient during each visit, and the dates of visits are noted. The results of the clinical research are presented here. The third stage of clinical trials involves no less than 1,000 patients and is often carried out in a few countries with different age, race, and sex groups. It's the stage of large-scale testing, so the process is quite long. It takes a few years sometimes. Such are international standards.
They take a long, long time. For instance, to have approval for Bioeffective A with the Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration, the TGA. We began that process in 1998. We received the authority in 2006. It took 8 years.
Ropran was passing preclinical tests for 10 years and then clinical trials for 4 years at Russian medical institutions and centers. Under Ministry of Public Health advice, the most popular hepatoprotector in the Russian market, Essentiale Forte, was used as a comparator. Medical conclusions were convincing. As a hepatoprotector, it's completely comparable to Essentiale Forte. Besides, Ropran can completely renew liver cells without leaving scar tissue, and it's involved in cell life without rejection or allergic reaction, which raises it above existing drugs on the market and confirms its uniqueness. In 2007, Ropran was registered with the Pharmacological Committee of the Ministry of Health as a hepatoprotector of natural origin. Of course, the cost of research and conducting trials from the beginning of the process up to its registration takes up huge sums of money. But Solagran is ready to invest in human health and life. That's the company's philosophy.
In one of Solagran's publications, I think it was an annual report, it said that it had been involved in 3 to 4 million hours of research. And I worked out that that was something like 2,000 man-years. Which is about over about a 7-decade period.
Ropran has really emerged to be a unique medicine with various unique characteristics. During trials it presents itself well, and not only as a hepatoprotector, so Solagran has decided to continue to study its new and special properties. Today, preclinical and clinical tests of Ropran for the prevention and treatment of Alzheimer's disease are being undertaken in Russia. The problem of Alzheimer's disease is not very evident here in Russia, only because people don't have a long life expectancy. They don't reach old age, but it's a significant problem for the United States, Australia, or England. Currently, Alzheimer's disease is ranked 4th in the causes of death after heart disease, cancer, and stroke. There are about 20 million people in the world suffering from the disease. Alzheimer's disease is actually a very serious mental disease that affects the brain. Till now, there are no modern effective drugs guaranteeing 100% recovery. At the Neuropharmacology Department at the Institute of Experimental Medicine in St. Petersburg, trials were undertaken in male Wistar rats with simulated Alzheimer's disease. The test results showed that Ropran therapy of rats with Alzheimer's disease leads to the absolute regeneration of damaged memory function and learning processes. From a medical report, experiments on male Wistar rats clearly showed 4 weeks of therapy with Ropran leads to the acceleration of in-spatial and spatial training. It has a stimulating effect on the brain's cognitive function. The positive results from the preclinical Ropran trials allowed the clinical tests to be conducted in the oldest Skvortsova-Stepanova Psychiatric Hospital No. 3 in St. Petersburg. We discovered that this therapeutic substance has effects similar to pharmaceuticals which we've used before, such as catenol, memantine, and cafebol, and other nootropics. However, it appeared to have a more powerful effect, which we'd like to investigate further. From a medical report, therapy with Ropran lasted for 3 months. Trials showed mental function improved by an average of 9 to 15 points, with improvement of biochemical blood parameters, levels of cholesterol and sugar, and evident improvement in EEG data. Findings showed that Ropran can be used as an Alzheimer's dementia cure for the treatment of patients with light as well as serious forms of the illness. This is a very promising medicine, and we should look at it from various angles. It might have some properties that we still don't know of. This drug obviously has a great future. Investigations of Ropran's influence on the brain and the cognitive functions of healthy aged volunteers were carried out in Australia. In Australia, we have passed serious clinical trials testing the product on people aged from 65 to 80 years old, monitored with the aim to see if the product in its minimal concentration could influence, if it could improve memory itself. And we've got very interesting results. We have data about its effectiveness in disseminated multiple sclerosis therapy and also the treatment of Parkinson's disease. Ropran research is ongoing. Oncology, viral infections, heart disease, brain injury, stroke, etc. And in every area there are impressive results. Peter Stedwell, Bachelor of Commerce, Solagift's Company Executive Director and Secretary. Peter Stedwell is a graduate of the University of Melbourne. He is the company secretary. Peter has broad corporate experience as a financial director and company secretary in different fields of industry. He was the financial manager and secretary of an international pharmaceutical company, E.R. Squibb & Sons, Bristol Myers Squibb. He believes his main focus is to help shareholders create wealth.
You can see that with 140 biotech companies listed on the stock exchange, very few of them actually get to commercial revenue within 5 years. So in that respect, Solagift has achieved something special.
Hello, mate. How are you?
The first to meet Peter is his dog, Boris, ready to play with his master all day long if he could. Peter's wife, Yvonne, is a nurse. She completed postgraduate training at the Royal Melbourne Hospital. They have 3 sons, Mark, Andrew and Justin, who have given them wonderful grandchildren. Yvonne can talk about them for hours. Their sons live separately with their own families, and Boris enriches Peter's and Yvonne's life. He knows his role in the family well. He likes to play with his master and go for walks. Peter loves the ocean. In all weathers he goes out to the pier and walks along the shore. He believes the ocean gives you strength and the sea air is enriching. In March 2009, Peter Stedwell, one of the pillars of Solagift, tragically passed away. His name will be etched into the company's history. Forests occupy about 60% of the territory in the Tomsk region. Half of it is coniferous. Cedar, pines including Siberian pine, spruce and silver fir. So it is not by chance that Solagift productive facilities are concentrated here. But how can Solagift solve environmental problems? I have a very firm attitude to this. First of all, our technology. It does not kill any plants. We only deal, to put it mildly, with waste wallowing on the ground. We take this waste, so-called coniferous branch, and recycle it.
I believe our company is environmentally friendly in that we don't cut down the trees, we merely take elements of the forestry, of the byproduct of forestry. So on that part of it, we have a fairly clear conscience.
Each item of factory equipment, and we have more than 100 of them, is the result of creative, non-standard engineering work. Nobody can replicate the technologies we use in the plant. If laboratories around the world get only grams of polyprenols, the Tomsk plant gets 20 kilos of them a month, and this is just the beginning. I think we'll reach a figure of 50 kilogram in the year 2009, and we'll reach 100 kilogram by the end of 2010. It is a stupendous amount. Currently, the Tomsk plant makes only the concentrate of polyprenols. Ropran is then produced at Galena Farm factory in St. Petersburg. Quality control during the production process and the control of the finished product is very strict at the oldest pharmaceutical factory in St. Petersburg. Everything is up to the highest GMP standards. GMP means good manufacturing practice. These are very strict regulations and standards. There are pretty harsh American GMPs and similar European standards, but they're more relaxed. We are harmonizing our production with the European requirements. The Tomsk plant is based on unique, high-quality, innovative technologies. We're only lacking a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility to produce the finished product, and this will happen very soon. We take into consideration the new factory's construction in Tomsk. In 2008, Solagift became a resident of the Special Free Economic Zone in Tomsk and has ambitious, extensive plans. Solagift will continue to manage the expansion of its technology, enabling it to put absolutely new products on the market.
On my forecast, within about 18 months, Solagift should be able to make something in the order of $60 to $70 million in revenue. And beyond that, when they get the second plant in Tomsk up and running with the 200 kilogram capacity, we're looking at something of the order of $600 or $700 million in revenue. And the company, I mean, in terms for investors, the company should be well over $1, if not moving towards $2 at that stage, probably, hopefully within the next 24 months. There's a lot of upside.
Professor Solotky's ideas, plans, and projects of the 1960s continue to inspire us and surprise us with their depth and endless potential. In the 1970s, Solotky's conifer waste recycling got national acceptance in the USSR. The modest green conifer needle became the source of valuable products in medicine and animal husbandry, which had great impact on the national economy. In the 1970s, 80s, there was a new scientific direction emerging in the USSR. More than 11 factories were built, including in Siberia, where you can find fur and silver fur. It was a real renaissance in the 1980s. 14 green conifer needle recycling factories were working in the Ukraine, Latvia, and Estonia. Chlorophyll keratin paste production averaged about 350 tons annually. Already in my time, we worked with all the leading Soviet cosmetology enterprises: the Krakow factory, Alay Parusa in Nikolaev, the former factory Svoboda when it was Russian, the Tbilisi Varia factory, the Riga Dzinters factory. This huge factory also used our phytosterol and other products from conifer needles. Conifer products were used throughout the country. New machines were introduced for producing conifer flour and animal fodder. They were located and operated at the actual logging sites. This machine can be interesting for livestock breeders. It's made at Bryansk Engineering Works, and it's used for making coniferous flour with vitamins. Cattle and poultry that take it are protected from different diseases. It's also a good additional feeding for cattle. At the end of the 1970s, unique experiments were undertaken at Crimean and Caucasian resorts. It was prohibited to spray plants with pesticides in the resort area. Consequently, pests destroyed the harvest. Organic conifer fertilizers were used and saved the fruit harvest and the mineral springs. Fyodor Solodky's conifer products were very popular and were awarded the Soviet Union Achievements Medals in Moscow. Chlorophyll keratin paste was sold in Leningrad pharmacies as a medicine.
Когда я работал в аспирантуре,
When I was working as a postgraduate, I used green conifer needles to obtain ether and sulfuric cellulose ethers. I burnt myself with sulfuric acid accidentally, but thanks to that medicine, the burn healed over very quickly.
благодаря вот этому лекарству очень все быстро зажило.
After Solodky died, conifer production began to decline. The drugs disappeared from pharmacies, including the most valuable and iconic conifer product, chlorophyll keratin paste. During perestroika, the financing of much of these scientific research stopped, forest biochemistry included.
И до сих пор, я считаю, до сих пор в
And
России
up until now, I
не
think,
было
this field
достигнуто
hasn't been fully appreciated in Russia.
По сути
Indeed,
дела, по сути
this
дела,
product has to be in the market
должен был быть на
everywhere
рынке,
as first
должен
aid.
был быть везде,
I mean,
самая первая
everywhere.
скорая помощь везде. Везде.
Vagif Sultanov, Doctor of Science, PhD of Chemistry, a qualified medical practitioner, and a founder and executive chairman of Solagift. Vagif Sultanov is a graduate of the St. Petersburg Forest Technical Academy. He has the coordination, strategy, and perspective lines of development in Solagift. He's one of those people who can never rest on his laurels. He planned to create a biotech company one day, and now he directs the company's new areas of development.
Цель ничто, а движение к цели все.
You see, I'll say it this way: goal is nothing, but the journey towards the goal is everything. My life is organized so that when I achieve an objective, I move forward. There are so many things to do and so much to be
Всего
done.
того, что должно быть сделано.
Vagif's wife, Yulia, graduated from the St. Petersburg State University of Engineering and Economics and now brings up their little son. Vagif raises his son, Derek, who's 3.5. He likes playing Spider-Man and wants to grow into a defender of the weak, just like Spider-Man. Derek loves to spend time with his mom at the zoo. He can feed an emu or meet a kangaroo there, or even ride his mom astride. Vagif often travels to St. Petersburg on business. Sometimes he takes his family with him. There is a gorgeous botanic garden at the Forest Technical Academy. They like walking there together, and walks along the Neva River reveals the beauty of ancient St. Petersburg, the city that Vagif loves. Australia is a country where people not only love and appreciate nature, they want to be a part of it. People tend to have a healthy lifestyle here. They go in for sports and use natural products for the maintenance of their health. Solagift offers not just natural products in the Australian market, but also products of high quality which are in demand. Especially true for athletes or people who experience mental and physical stress daily.
Solagift products really allow the undercurrent, the underpinning of the performance to be integrated for the person, to allow deep rest and to enhance immune system and other systems.
Okay, so I use 3 of the Solagift products. The first one is the Bioeffective A, so I use that as part of an overall program for my diet and health and well-being, so especially around the gut and looking after digestion.
Solagift offers Bioeffective B as a sauna therapy that helps athletes release different toxins and lactic acid from their body. It intensifies perspiration and reduces stress, which prompts recovery.
I've used the sauna therapy extensively over the last 18 months, a couple of times a week, and also the eye, the drink, and I found both have had marked effects on my ability to recover.
Yeah, so the Bioeffective B is done in conjunction with a sauna, which is something I generally do after a match, sort of 24 to 48 hours after I've played. I guess the effect you feel, to me it sort of feels like some of the lactic acid which has been produced from the match is sort of metabolised quicker than it would be were I not to use the treatment. And then the Bioeffective I is a drink which I'd have once daily. I feel that's sort of good for hydration, and I also think it's got some benefits as sort of like an antioxidant in preventions of colds and things like that.
We should also note that Bioeffective I is a pure Siberian pine sap. It's appreciated not only in Australia and not only by athletes. In Tomsk, where this product is produced, it's sold in pharmacies and is very popular. That's why these days kindergartens buy this product as a preventive health measure. They know its effectiveness. Solagift is ready to prove the effectiveness of its products by results, not just numbers and facts. My little son takes Bioeffective A, in fact, from the age of 20 months. And now if, for example, his mother forgets to give it to him, he asks himself where his capsule is. Derek gladdens his parents' heart. He's a very curious and lively child, fond of sports, swimming and tennis, like the rest of young Australians. But his favorite is karate. Derek really enjoys hard exercises and cultivates a voice like his sensei teacher has. Vagiv Sultanov is a hospitable husband. Solagift reminds him of a family. Colleagues meet often at parties and family occasions. On his birthday, friends, family and colleagues come together. It is hard to find an individual here who has not been helped by Vagiv. There are speeches and thanks. He is someone who shows great empathy, care and love for his fellow man. For Vagiv, as for every doctor, nothing is more valuable than health. Solagift's primary purpose is to free a significant proportion of the world's population from the pain and suffering caused by a wide range of acute and chronic diseases. We will achieve this goal through the development, production, and distribution of a range of completely non-toxic and extremely effective pharmaceutical, cosmetic, and agricultural products that utilize the life elements of trees, bioeffectives. Solagift's mission is to serve mankind, to free it from pain. And this isn't just an advertising slogan. The company believes these products contain astonishing properties that mobilize the body's inner resources enabling it to fight disease and heal itself. They are a beacon of hope for humanity.